Judaism and Christianity's Influence on Western Mathematics. This presentation is for STEM 570 and is by Meredith Cioffi. The question I picked for this presentation was question 11. It stated that a teacher and a student had a conversation that went something like this. Student, I think 1 plus 1 equals 2 and it can never be any other way. Teacher, 1 plus 1 equals 2 is so Judeo-Christian. Is it? Analyze the history of mathematics to determine whether and to what extent Western mathematical tradition was influenced by Judaism and/or Christianity. When the human race first began to develop, their needs were simple. The designation of the size of the family, the counting of his enemies, or similar use of small numbers represented all that life demanded of mathematics. The invention of money was still thousands of years away, and without the need for a common numbering system, arithmetic would not advance for many years. These people would be able to realize if something was missing without being able to count. A well-known instance of a deaf and mute boy who acquired knowledge of numbers from observing his fingers even before he was taught to count shows that the idea of numbers did not have to await the development of spoken language. Eventually, as the spoken word evolved, so did that of mathematics. Little progress was made in understanding numerical values and space relationships until the transition occurred from the mere gathering of food to the actual production, from hunting and fishing to agriculture. Wandering in search of food came to an end and was replaced with farming, and soon thereafter villages began to develop. Trading with other villages became a part of life, which encouraged the development of languages and numbers. Numbers were arranged by the use of fingers, of the hand or both hands and feet. At this time, people used bases of 5, 10, and 20 to express what they wanted. For example, 14 would be expressed as 10 plus 4 using their fingers. Records were kept using sticks, knots, pebbles, tally sticks, and many other rudimentary devices. In order to understand the numbering system that we use today, we must take a tour through the history of math. So we will start with the Egyptians. The Egyptians used a numbering system based on groupings of 10. Their system was similar to the Roman numeral system and repeated symbols as many times as necessary. Each symbol represented a power of 10, and then they would add up all the symbols to get to their final answer. They could add, subtract, solve linear equations, solve for areas and volume, and multiply and divide using the idea of doubling. Next came the Babylonians. The use of clay tablets by the Mesopotamians during the Babylonian Age preserved their arithmetic work. These discoveries allowed scientists to study and understand their numbering system. The Mesopotamians, often referred to as the Babylonians, used a place value system based on 60. A symbol for 1 and 10 were repeated to represent numbers 1 through 59. The spacing between these groups represented whether they stood for units of 60 or powers of 60. These scribes could add, subtract, multiply, divide, use fractions, solve linear equations, and do basic geometry. Greece, which eventually became a part of the Roman Empire, directly received a good deal of its arithmetical knowledge from Egypt. The Greeks were very concerned with geometry, the properties of whole numbers, and ratios. Between the time of Plato and Aristotle, both of whom are very famous philosophers, the Greek Empire was expanding at a fast rate. It spread the Greek language, culture, and education. Greek became the international language, and Greek mathematics also began to spread. An interest in astronomy grew, so the Greek astronomers borrowed from the Babylonian mathematicians and started using numbers to measure angles. The Babylonian connection is visible because the fraction of angles were written in sexagesimal fashion. The last few hundred years of the Roman Empire, Rome was plagued by outside invasions and constant warfare. During this time of insurrection, mathematics stopped advancing and became stagnant. In contrast, Indian mathematics was flourishing due to their creation of the decimal numeration. This decimal system was eventually evolved into the system used today, the Hindu-Arabic number system. The Hindu-Arabic number is a number system that consists of numbers 0 to 9. Arabic numerals originally came from India. The reason they are the most commonly known as Arabic numerals in Europe and the Americas is because Arabs introduced the system to Europe in the 10th century from North Africa. Leonardo Fibonacci was the first European to use the Arabic numerals in his book Liber Abaci, written in 1202. He spent his youth studying the Arabic numeral system and realized how simple and efficient Arabic numerals were compared to the then Roman numerals. An easier mathematical system allowed advancement in the Western world. In order to understand if Christianity and Judaism had an impact on Western mathematics, one must understand their history first. In 117 AD, the Roman Empire was at its territorial height and had reached that point by suppressing organized religion such as Christianity and Judaism. Judaism had been around for a very long time and had established hierarchy. By contrast, Christianity was new and only followed by a small group of people. Yet, within less than 25 years, the Romans had crushed Judaism, driving the Jews back to their homeland. However, the Romans failed to control Christianity. Over the next 2 centuries, Christianity spread across much of Europe and had a great influence on the development of civilization at this time. In 312 AD, Christianity became the official religion of the Roman Empire. When the empire was defeated, Christianity stuck around. The Roman Catholic Church became the highest authority of its time, while Jews remained a small group scattered across the world. Today, over a third of the world's population is Christian, making Christianity the most popular religion on earth. Around the 10th century, life in Europe began to stabilize, allowing people to focus on education. Cathedral schools were built to train future priests and clerics of the Catholic religion. The mere presence of these religious leaders stimulated interest in the field of mathematics. Spain, which was under Islamic control, was a cradle for the mathematical study and advancement. While few European scholars knew Arabic, many Jewish people living in and around Spain were drawn to the task of translating common texts to European tongue. The Jewish scholars also translated ancient Greek texts to Arabic, allowing for even more growth and mathematical breakthroughs. Cathedral schools eventually led to the founding of the first universities in Bologna, Oxford, Paris, and a few other critical cities in Europe. At these universities, the Hindu-Arabic system was taught, and arithmetic was further enhanced. Technological advancements led to the extensive ocean traveling, carrying the idea of navigation and engineering to all parts of the world. Once Europeans started to travel to different continents, they brought their cultural beliefs, language, and education with them. An order of the Roman Catholic priests, called the Society of Jesus, or Jesuits, traveled from Europe to China and eventually even South America, guided by the pursuit of enhancing knowledge and building schools. Eventually, Jesuit schools were created in every country in every corner of the world. Consequently, the discipline of European mathematics was taught and studied globally, thus making it the most dominant and prevailing form of mathematics. In conclusion, the statement from question 11 that 1 + 1 = 2 is completely influenced by Judeo-Christian scholars. Rome's geographical dominance of empire building spread the Hindu-Arabic system from its Indian origins back to the Mediterranean, North Africa, and North Europe. Christianity's roots spread through the Roman Empire and gained strong following and reduced some of the power of the Roman Empire. Christian leaders embraced mathematical texts, which influenced the people of Europe through capitalism and vocational pursuits. Christianity's mission of converting non-believers allowed them to travel through the world in quest of trade, land, and the promotion of Christianity. Europeans built schools to educate, control, and guarantee that the future generations would follow their cultural customs and mathematical principles. Eventually, all 6 continents were touched by European exploration, thus transferring the Hindu-Arabic system to all populated areas of the world.